Hey, what's up? Zach here, and today I've got the top 5 outdoor basketball shoes for 2023 going into 2024. Here we go. Starting off with number 5, this shoe is actually really surprising to me in terms of all the tools it had for outdoor use. However, it's also the only shoe on this list that has been battle tested in professional sports outdoors, and I know you're probably wondering what that means, but that is the Puma Stewie 2. And what I mean by battle tested by professional outdoor sports is that Leylah Annie Fernandez, who is a WTA tennis professional who made it to the finals of the US Open a few years back, has been wearing these on really gritty outdoor hard courts for tennis. And tennis hard courts can rip up shoes like no one's business, especially going side to side, sliding a lot. And she has still had great success using these shoes, even with more of the sliding that outdoor tennis has, as well as just really testing the rubber as well as the lateral flange on these shoes with such aggressive and speedy side-to-side play, especially cutting side-to-side as tennis does. Now, on an outdoor basketball court, these still grip into slick paint, black top, really kind of any type of outdoor court surface. They are probably the least durable shoes on this list in terms of outdoor play. However, the durability is still pretty good as long as you are playing a little bit more of a fluid game. And even for someone who slides a lot, they're still going to give you a lot of grab just because of kind of the different patterns, going from circular to linear to almost razor patterns. So really, no matter what kind of footwork you have, these will have you covered on an outdoor basketball court, tennis court, or pickleball court. And coming in at number 4 on this list is a tie between two shoes, just because I feel like they have the same outdoor acumen, they just go about it in completely different ways. And that is a tie between the Way of Wade 808-3 Ultra as well as the Way of Wade Son of Flash. Now, the reason I tied both these two shoes, they're both pretty streamlined shoes from Way of Wade. I feel like if you fit into one, you'll fit into the other. It's just, do you want the drop-in midsole of the 808-3 Ultra, or do you want the standard setup as the Son of Flash? They both have just really aggressive patterns on the outsole tread, whereas the 808-3 regular, I think, is a better indoor shoe than the 808-3 Ultra. The 808-3 Ultra just has a little bit more grit in it, for outdoor courts, especially with the carbon fiber in the heel counter of this, doubled up with the plastic. It is just a little bit more of a rugged outdoor shoe. The Son of Flash, although it does play well indoors, does need a little bit more rubber warming indoors. However, that same profile on an outdoor court is a real asset. And like I said, it is a pretty streamlined shoe, pretty speedy shoe. Almost kind of looks like a cross between a tennis and more of a maximalist running shoe. However, with that lateral flange being so long, right, with that big lightning bolt kind of making it really long, it does just give you a lot of protection outdoors on courts that might kind of change surfaces from wet paint to asphalt, to blacktop, all the way to more of a gritty court. So in terms of really kind of rugged play for a more streamlined outdoor shoe, both of these are great pickups. And coming in at number 3, this shoe is kind of like the Stewie 2, whereas that was an indoor basketball shoe that could be used for outdoor tennis. This next shoe is an outdoor tennis shoe that can be used, very well for outdoor basketball, and that is the New Balance Coco CG1. And a lot like the Stewie 2, this shoe has had its biggest battle test in the US Open Finals this year, where Coco Gauff won the US Open Final in this shoe. Now, the Coco CG1, to me, is an outdoor basketball shoe, kind of masked as a tennis shoe. It has all the tools for an outdoor basketball shoe. Number 1, the treads on it are really meant for a really fluid outdoor game, as well as some sliding and dragging. The linear patterns to it and the wide breadth of pattern to it is so nice. The lateral flange on there is really smooth but protective enough. Kind of gets into that mid category, as well as having the top-loaded carbon fiber shank that goes all the way into the forefoot, giving you a nice little spring back feeling on your forefoot. But it's not super heavy and super thick to where it becomes uncomfortable. And coming in at number 2, this is another tie because, well, number 1, these shoes are both pretty similar except for one key difference, as well as I just didn't want this to become the Way of Wade show, and that is a tie between the Way of Wade Fission 8 as well as the All City 11 V1 and V2. Now, the reason I like both of these models is I feel like they're kind of just meant for outdoor courts in terms of just the grit in the outsole tread. The Fission 8 has such a good setup in terms of protecting your foot in the midsole with a double shank, as well as double stacked foam as in the heel, as well as in the forefoot with different compounds that give much different properties. If you want to check that out, check out my review on them. But suffice it to say, they're going to protect you, number 1, in terms of side to side, in terms of up and down, as well as in terms of burning through the tread. Kind of same thing in the All City 11 V1 and V2. The All City 11 V1, a little bit wider of a shoe, boxier feeling of a shoe. The V2 a little bit more of a snug type fit. So whichever one you like, whichever fit you like is gonna be the one you'd want to go with. However, because these just have so much protection in terms of lateral stability, as well as just how rugged the outsole tread is, as well as the entire bed of boom foam, which protects your foot from those outdoor courts. Because remember, an outdoor basketball shoe isn't just about the tread, it's also about the midsole and how much it can protect your joints from those really unforgiving outdoor courts. So if you want protection from those courts, these are the two shoes I think are some of the best out there, except for the number one. And coming in at number one is a shoe that number one will grab a slick outdoor court like a monster truck. Number two will protect your foot, just like the best shoes we've seen on this list so far, and that is the Anta Shockwave 5. Now, obviously, there are a few versions of this, a Shockwave 5, a Shockwave 5 Pro. I found the Shockwave 5, just in its standard version, is phenomenal on the outdoor courts. Number one, because of the full bed of thermoplastic foam, ton of protection underfoot, but more importantly than that, really thin carbon fiber that is top-loaded on top of a plastic shank that goes really far into the forefoot, gives that double shank protection of your foot. And because the outsole tread on these is more like a triangular razor pattern than it has a really fat wave mixed into that, you're just getting so much good surface area contact on those outdoor courts, and they'll really grip no matter what kind of outdoor surface you're putting these on. Plus, because there's plastic that goes all the way into the forefoot underneath of your toes, if you are getting rebounds over and over again or coming down your foot over and over again, being under the rim, this is something that's going to protect you probably the best out of any of these shoes in terms of, those lumps, bumps, and snake bites you might get from just those chronic jumping type injuries. And plus, their profile is that of almost like the Wade Son of Flash, so you're getting the really nice streamlined profile of those shoes with a maximalist protection of something like the AG4. So if you really want everything in one package, this is it. But of course, love to know your thoughts, especially in the outdoor basketball space. What have been the shoes that you have found have been the best, especially if there's any kind of, sneaky type picks that you've found out there that I have not, put in this list. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you want to see a full performance review of any of the shoes I put on this list, I will set up a special playlist right here, and make sure you subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam, and I'll see you somewhere in the Sneakerverse.